Oh,
Pen
yeah.
is mightier than the sword.
My heart,
The sword is mightier than the pen.
my heart rate was really going earlier. Just thinking about this, I was like, are we ready?
Yeah.
They'll stop when you bang your hammer. Oh, you gotta give it a better whack.
Yeah,
than that.
really. Call to order. The meeting of the Historic Preservation Board, Denison, Texas, will come to order. It's 12 noon, Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. Present are members Linda Anderson, Steve Riley, and Kirsten Solomon, and we have the presence of a quorum. Do we have anyone here that has completed a request to speak card that would like to speak at this time? No? Okay. With that, we'll move on to individual items of consideration. First item, to receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on the March 7th, 2023 meeting minutes.
I noticed one spelling error, and it is, the pages aren't numbered, but it's like the third page over in the minutes where it starts with "of some sort" at the very top. And if you scan down about 15 sentences, it says City of Addition the first time, and then the second time it says City of Addison. So that first one just needs to be changed.
Yes, thank you. I'll make that change before Melanie signs it.
And with that,
Is that good? Okay, then do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the March 7th meeting?
so move.
Second.
Okay, we have a first by Linda Anderson, second by Steve Riley. Carried. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Motion approved. Okay. Item B, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on request to install window graphics and to replace the wood around the doors in the same white paint and replace the back door.
Okay, so this applicant, this applicant is not here today. So they had originally asked for more things, like replacing some mortar and doing some things to the building, including paint. And so painting those bricks. And so they, after I told them that we don't paint unpainted bricks, they had backed off that, I think. I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure that I said what their final request was. All right. So they do want to add vinyl window lettering and replace and paint the wood, as you said. You can see it's rotted there some. And then replace the back door with, I think they said matching the same double door as the front. So that would be their formal request.
But that's glazed brick, isn't it?
Yeah,
What are they gonna do about the repairs in the front where they need a couple of replacements, or
some of them
it looks like some of the facade has come off of.
up at the top.
Yeah. And I just have to address that later. So-
Yeah, I think that's the plan. Yeah, I think that's the plan, is maybe to let the landlords address that.
Any other questions or concerns?
I make a motion, we approve the request.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Motion first by Steve Riley and second by Linda Anderson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on the request to install white vinyl lettering with the name of the business and Absolute Aesthetics on the back door at 327 West Main.
So the business owner has made this request, and I had approved some just simple vinyl letters. The only reason I didn't is because of timing. It was just as quick to put it on this agenda as to approve it. But they're just putting lettering on the back to say who they are. She's put option A as the white. I think I like that best, but
So it's either or?
yes.
I like the white better.
Yes, I agree.
Isn't most of the other letters in the other buildings white too?
Yeah, they
So
are. It's kind of the
I agree
standard.
with you on that.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the signage at 327, back of 327.
Second.
Second. Okay. Motion by Linda Anderson, second by Steve Riley. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on the request to demolish 8 4 foot by 4 foot 5 inch by 13 foot brick walls and roof line of the drive-through cleanup and repave the kiosk area at 119 West Rusk.
So the applicant is asking to remove portions of that drive-through bank, and that's shown in the attachments. I believe that Mr. Hempkins is here to speak on that, and so I believe that he could explain what they're wanting to do better than I could, so I'll let him speak.
Thank you.
Need to state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Robert Hempkins, and I'm here today representing Hempkins Partners, the company that owns this former motor bank of J.P. Morgan Chase. And as Mrs. Dow said, that our intent is to slice that area off that you see that were quite old motor bank drive-through windows, and it'll be flush with the west part of the building there where you see in the far right picture, and will be restuccoed to match the original building.
And so that little building seems to be kind of freestanding, and it will be freestanding after the demolition, is what you're talking about, redoing the back facade of that, the one that sits on the corner.
Yeah, the bank facade of what was at one time the travel agency, and now
Exactly.
it's a little
CBD
vitamin store or something
Right,
such as
right,
that.
vitamin store.
The entire building will match.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it'll also match what's on the side, the far west side of the property, that is a common wall with snow white laundry, you'll notice.
Oh, perfect. Thanks.
And it'll all be resurfaced and done new.
Can you do it today?
Pardon me?
Can you do it today?
Yeah. As soon as y'all give us the green light, we'll get on it, I promise.
My only question is, where am I going to park my truck now during a hailstorm?
Yeah. Yeah, we need a few extra car washes downtown when that hits, don't we?
We do, we do.
Thank you.
So do you have plans for that? Is it just gonna be parking now?
Well, parking for, until future development is
Right.
ascertained.
Okay.
Yeah, I make a motion, we approve the request.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Motion by Steve Riley, second by Linda Anderson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hampkins.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item E, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on the request to seal masonry and paint wispy white and paint and stain cement awning at 118 West Chestnut.
We have our applicants here today, and I'm going to ask them to tell you more about this in a second. I must apologize because I was actually working from my phone and I did not see the attachment that showed the pictures. And so I was under the wrong impression of what was being painted. I thought it was a small space between the windows, and that's not the case. And so I would like to clarify that. This is what they're proposing, and there's been some guidance that we've got from our state architect who was in town last week. And then we've got Rosin Preservation on the phone. Okay, they'll be on the phone in just a minute. Because, of course, we need somebody much more technically knowledgeable than me to help with this solution for their problem. And so there's an awning that they would like to paint black, I'm assuming, and then the sealant and terracotta. And so I'm just going to let them come describe the project now. You just state your name and address.
Hey there, my name's Taryn Berthoff. My home address is 2702 Shady Oaks Lane, Sherman, Texas. First of all, I've got to say, I can't wait for Sherman to have this. I'm actually on the Downtown Historical Preservation Board in Sherman, and we currently meet at a plastic table, round table, so this is a nice setup. So I'm one of the owners of this building, and our intention, I've got my two partners here with me as well. Our intention is to create a Class A office space in downtown Denison for us to occupy. We bought this building with the intention of creating a very high-class, nice office. The interior's nearly finished out. It's about 95% of the way there. And currently, in the 1,700 square feet of office, have spent $200,000 on the amenities in the office. So our initial intention was not to paint this building. It's actually come as more of a necessity to prevent water damage. Right now, we've spent $40,000, over $40,000, on trying to repair any items that could be causing the leaks. So we had the full roof redone, new TPO roof, and the water was still intruding, coming down the walls. So we replaced all of the caps, redid some windows, took out a planter, poured concrete in, sealed it with a silicone sealant, and have also put tar around all of the seams at the bottom of the building to prevent water intrusion. Yet still, what's happening is the water is coming on the inside of our brick and seeping down to the floor and destroying our new floors, walls, paint, and we are going to have to touch those up once we can figure out this water situation. So we've spoken with two masons, a commercial builder, a painter who does commercial spaces, and an architect, and all of them have said the only way you're going to solve the issue with this brick is, and we're actually repointing it today, the masons over there repointing the brick. But they've all said the only way you're going to fix this is if you have a waterproof sealant on it. And they don't make a clear waterproof sealant for these buildings. It's only a white type color. So we wanted to go with wispy white, which is on y'all's approved color list. Though this was not painted prior, we are going with an approved color. And I believe the awning actually has already been approved. Is that correct? Mhm. Or the awning itself is approved then? Oh, yeah, the awning is approved. Okay, the awning's approved, so the color on the awning is noir, which is also on the approved color list.
Where's the source of the lake? Have you identified that?
Yes, so the water's hitting the side of the brick and seeping
Is it
in.
permeating through the brick?
It's permeating through the brick. And so we have a mason out there resealing everything, but he said even this isn't going to stop because the brick is so porous. So it's absorbing the water coming, and there's just the brick between the outside and our inside wall. So we're trying to keep as much of the brick visible as possible for aesthetic
Can you
appeal.
explain where the water is, like, however tall the building is there a certain area that it's coming in? Is it lower, upper,
It's
top?
coming in on 3 of our walls and at various places, and it is coming in from about 7-8 feet up in the walls and trickling down into the floor.
Is that just inherent, because you had 3 different surfaces on that facade that I saw. One was stucco, one kind of brick, and it looked like, is that just an inherent problem in that kind of brick?
Do you mind pulling up the image again?
Because we have photos from staff, but the one on her slide was much better. Back up one, please. Yeah, it looked like at the top, some of that, I'm assuming you're talking about the north wall there.
Yeah, so actually it's leaking on the north wall, the west wall, and the east wall. The south wall is the only one where it's not leaking into the building. So on the west wall, it's actually the worst, and you can't see it. Those buildings don't actually have a joined wall. There's just some brick in the front that makes it look like it's joined. So we actually dug that out, regraded that so that the water would drain away, which we thought might have been an issue. Turns out it is coming through the brick, and we saw it after we repainted because the paint's bubbling and you can see where the water is coming in through the brick. So it must be inherent to that style of brick that it does leak and it's very porous. The front facade is the horizontal thinner brick is not the biggest issue. I think we'll actually remediate all issues on the north side with the awning, or at least most of those issues.
I might have missed it. Do you have exposed brick on the inside of your building?
We do.
Okay. And the top of the building, you said you got a new roof. What is the brick at the top? Is there brick and then it goes down and then?
There is a
up
parapet wall.
There's a
and
parapet and a cap.
correct, and we replaced both of those.
And you placed all of that on the top?
We were-
So you don't see water coming in from that?
That's
You're
correct.
saying it's the side?
That is correct. We've replaced that. We've crawled around in the attic while it's been raining, and we've not seen any evidence of the roof leaking. I'm sure our roofer actually got tired of us calling him because we thought it was the roof. We kept having him come back. And then one of the heavy rainstorms 2 times ago, Zach and I crawled up in the attic and were watching where the water was coming through.
So if it's a mortar issue, and you said that you got someone repointing today, would you give it time to see if that's the possible cause?
Well, it's costing us money not to be in this building, and currently we have 8 people who work with us who are working from home. It's also costing us to carry this. I would really like to just get this done so that we're not destroying our floors and walls any further. And we've contacted 5 people who know better than I do as far as how to remediate this. And they've all said painting the brick is going to be your only way. Like resealing it's not going to fix the porous brick issue.
Is it gonna have a period of drying out before you can paint it, or, I mean, I've never seen this kind of brick, I don't know anything about it.
Right, and I've never seen another downtown building with this type of brick either. I sell real estate as well. I'm a commercial broker, and I've never seen this. So yes, we want it to dry out prior to painting it.
And it's the same brick inside, identical
It
brick
is.
inside?
It's the
okay.
same, that wall that you see on the exterior is what we see on the interior.
One of the problems is there's not a waterproof membrane, because it's the same brick. Typically, there's a membrane between the brick, the membrane, and then the framing, and that's not there. So, yeah.
That is true. There's usually some,
It's using an air gap.
that's correct. There's an air gap, a membrane, weep holes where that water can seep out. And in this case, there's not that.
Have you done any sealing on the brick inside?
We have done some painting on portions of the brick, but we have not painted the entire thing, although I think the brick being saturated with water is going to cause a problem regardless.
So the brick that you've painted and/or sealed on the inside, are you getting moisture there?
We are. We actually, that's how we see it. It's bubbling up the paint in the inside of the building.
And that's what I was asking, is there gonna have to be a period of drying out before you can even do any of this?
That is true. Yeah, we'll let the exterior dry out prior to painting it, and we'll take the guidance of our commercial painter on that. But what we used on the interior is not going to be the same as what we use on the exterior. It's not a silicone-based product.
Also, what we've done to date is remediated probably 80% of the issue. I mean, we've been chipping away at, could be this, let's fix this, could be this, let's fix this. Now we're at like, this is the last, tear the wall down and rebuild it, or this, which is, so.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you need his name and number since he spoke? Okay.
That's Zach Hefton. Do you want me to tell you who it is?
Zach Hefton, 1711 North Lockhart Street, Sherman.
Thank you. Any questions or?
Just a couple of comments. I'm newest member on the board, so some of these issues that pop up, I'm kind of new to address, but really, I guess overall, is that the stance is they would rather not paint brick but I've never seen any other way of remediating this either.
And we'd like to not paint this either because it's costing us money. We're over budget on this project already. I would rather leave it as brick. And I assure you, if there was another way that these guys could guide me, the professionals that I'm counseling could guide me to do something else, I would do that. And Zach, I'm not sure where, if you wanted to say something. That's okay.
Austin Hoover, 118 West Chestnut is our building address. That's our office address too. But a little history in this building is it was built, we're not sure exactly when, but about 1960, and it was an industrial building for the vet clinic. And so it served as primarily just storage for animals and in the kennels. And they had a giant trench poured in the middle of the concrete so they could wash out the kennels and it would all drain out. So this building was primarily industrial, and I'm sure water was intruding at that point also, but because it was a garage, it wasn't a problem. So at some point in 1970s, 80s, they remedied this and turned it into an office space. And they furred out the walls with wood strips, metal studs, and when over the years, it's undergone several renovations. Different, drop ceilings have been added. And gosh, how many dumpsters did we fill up tearing out layers and layers of walls and ceilings and got back to the original walls because we wanted to restore it and use it as a kind of a boutique office because we really like the block and its appearance. But we definitely weren't expecting it to be as porous as it was, and we had no idea that it was leaking as bad as it was because the walls were in the way. So we thought, the roof was in terrible shape. We replaced the roof very early on. That didn't fix the issue. Replaced the cap, windows, repointing, all the things that we've mentioned. But it's come down to this building just inherently leaks. even after you repoint it. And I think it's just because it was built as an industrial warehouse, and we're now trying to use it as an office space. So without the primary water barriers, air gaps, and most of all a brick ledge, so that when water runs down the brick, it drains outside. When it hits the bottom of or it hits the floor or foundation, it gets to run in and out. So without any kind of brick ledge or physical barrier, it's just going to keep coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So we've been unable to connect with Rosin Preservation. And y'all probably know, but just to explain, our standards say that you can't paint unpainted brick, and so that's why they're struggling with this. And I've consulted with our state architect, and I think we gave you a copy of this. It's the preservation briefs that talk about repointing and the masonry and the water repellent. And so if you read the narrative that he wrote, I think it explains it pretty well. But anyway, that's just the flip side of it. That's what they're struggling with and trying to consider the case. So we can call her and ask her a question, but we have been unable to get her on the phone.
Well, clearly, something has to be done, or you're going to reach a situation where you have demolition by neglect. It's going to keep deteriorating, one. It's not as if the facade being a different color is going to make it be more of a contributing building. It being used in a good way is the way that it could make the best contribution to the district, I think. That's a big expanse of white, but clearly something has to happen to remediate the leaking.
Would y'all be in favor of holding off on the paint until you wait and see if the mortar repointing is going to remedy the problem, or are you saying that it's not going to?
All of the professionals that we've talked to who have come and actually seen this building, we've shown them the issues of water intrusion, have said that repointing the brick is only going to solve part of the problem. It's not going to stop the water from seeping into this type of brick. Because it's actually going into the brick. There's a hollow area in there. It's seeping down to the bottom of the wall, hitting the foundation and coming in. And they said repointing will not solve that issue.
Okay.
I guess one of my, and I'm really agreeing with our counterpart over here about we need to keep the building in use for
Yes,
you,
sir.
and it's for the rest. But I guess one thing I would almost like to see is a professional report from your contractor, your expert, or your whomever is giving you this advice. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'd like to have that and compare that with what our consultants are saying, because I'm not, when I was reading the email from this morning, I'm not sure they're understanding maybe the nature of the problem. I mean, what you're telling me is this water seeping through the brick.
That's correct.
And all the mortar in the world repointing and replacing is not going to change that. That brick is porous. And so I would feel comfortable if I had an expert report or your.
Austin is an expert. Yeah, he's an
Looks like
architect.
An expert,
He is.
I'd like to have it. I'm old fashioned. I'm a really old guy. So I'm going to need a piece of paper. That's how that works for me.
Okay.
Now, a lot of my counterparts here, they're much more young and vigorous than they see things better than I.
You're right.
But I need a piece of paper. That's how that works. But I would feel better in basing the decision on an expert's written report. It's describing the nature. That's for me.
Okay.
I don't know how they feel.
How soon do you think you could get that?
I'm sure we could get a report soon. I mean, every day we're not in here, it is costing us money and time, and we are wanting to be in downtown Denison. I mean, we own buildings in downtown Sherman too, and we're choosing to be in downtown Denison because we believe in what you guys are doing and want to be part of that. And we own other buildings down here.
You think it's something you have to do by the next time we meet in 2 weeks?
I would really like to do it today. I mean, it's something that's,
I would, what I would prefer, because, I mean, we are spending substantial money, and have spent substantial money on
Yeah.
this. If it's possible, if we could get you the report and even out of session, and it's like subject or contingent upon this report.
I think there might be a problem with our meeting if you do that afterwards.
We could always have a special meeting.
Mhm.
That's agreeable to you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We've certainly not had a case like this before, have we?
No, not where they ran through the traps, like they.
I mean, we've
you
had
know, they just
buildings that
walked
were,
in or they fell.
yeah, we've had buildings that were falling down and leaking and deteriorating on the facade and the inside. We've had that. And the action that was taken was to stabilize them. So clearly, as a minimum, that has to happen.
This is an unusual brick. I haven't seen a brick like this before to even compare it to what somebody else might have had the same issue
To
and how
deal with,
they
right.
resolved it.
Like, there's no way to, that they could see the visible, what's happening unless they go down there when it's raining.
I mean, if y'all want to come, we could show you in person and show you where it's coming in, how it's coming in.
Yeah, it's
And-
not a lack of belief, it's a lack of, for me, I want to have an expert, because we're deviating substantially from the standard, and before I do that, that's my, I don't think there's anybody here that would want to approve it, but that's not what our standards are, and I need to be able to kind of back up that, and it is about you, it's about the next guy. That's from my standpoint.
Well, we could make history today and have us move in and, preserve it for tomorrow. I mean,
So assembling a document to explain what the process would be and why the necessity could happen in probably an hour.
Possibly. Essentially, that letter, it would just be reinstating what we've already said.
But there would be a document. And Donna, a special meeting can be held quorum on an email, right? No, we can't do it, though it can't be a special meeting without the posted agenda. Can't do that.
What is the, requirements to hold a meeting?
3-day notice.
Okay, so we don't have to post it. But I mean, we don't have to have a 72-hour range.
Yeah,
I'm not following. So normally we post 72 hours in advance, but because it's a special meeting.
but this doesn't fall under special meeting though.
Just follow up.
But this doesn't follow under a special meeting, does it, or the follow-up is? I don't think this would qualify under a special meeting, would it? Didn't it have to be special circumstances? Okay. All right, so Austin, you're the designer and you have enough technical knowledge that we can rely on your qualifications and knowledge, skills, and abilities to provide us with adequate documentation to help us deviate from the standards, and right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're talking about a letter, right, of recommendation?
Specific, I want to know, I feel comfortable if it's like, hey, due to the nature of this type of brick, it's unique, and as far as we know, there's not any other around here like that. It is inherently a porous material that's gonna always cause problems unless it's dealt with. That would, for me, and I'm not speaking for my counterparts here at all,
Sure.
but that would,
So we wrote this.
I was reading that.
Yeah, and so we need to distinguish what you're asking for. Maybe you did while I was.
Because they talk about all the things they've done, they added new ridge cap and all that.
So what you're asking is, because someone has said that they've had painters and masons say, you haven't seen that verbiage.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you haven't seen the actual paper signed off, it's just what I hear say,
Yes.
other than,
Unless y'all are comfortable the way it is.
well, this is the issue I have, and if we do nothing and something happens in the interim, and it continues, we get another major rain and the building continues to deteriorate, then they're gonna be even out more money to
They've made a
make
significant
repairs.
investment
Yes.
already.
Yes.
And clearly, there's gonna have to be some sort of substance, probably additional to what's happening right now on the side of the building. I mean, I have no issue with what the outcome will be. I think what we're talking about is procedurally, what's the most efficient way to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you're not gonna be able to paint until what you're doing now is sufficiently dry anyway.
So, yeah, the process is usually repointing, and repointing will solve most problems. But the problem with this is there's joints that pointing does not cover. And so that requires something like a block filler or a sealer. And this is the product that's been recommended by those professionals. So we're professionals taking advice from professionals that know more about these products. And this is the product they're recommending. And it only comes in a color like white or gray.
So that is the secondary process, even after what's happening now.
So we're repointing and repairing, bricks that have larger holes that we haven't already. We filled the largest of the large holes, and now we're going back and filling the smaller holes. Next would be to rolling this really thick. They call it block filler, but it fills those tiny holes, and then you can come back with your paint on top of that. So the block filler is not necessarily paint; it's just the solution to seal the block. So if we could get that in clear, we would, but it's only available in a color for the materiality of it.
Donna, when the brick was falling apart on the back of 519 Salem's building, what was happening then and how was it resolved? Do you remember, Robert? I'm down at 519,
Did
3
you put
stories with the
another
loft.
surface on top of it?
He put something on it, correct? But it was in fact painted, which is a different part of the scenario, but it was the same sort of crumbling, porous brick situation, and it was giving way.
Stucco
And
would
so
also
he
do that.
used probably the sort of product that we're talking about here.
That doesn't sound.
Yeah,
familiar.
exactly.
I thought it was more, I thought it'd be more stucco and then painted it.
Actually, there might have been some additional surface, the whole thing. Am I remember that correctly?
I think that's what happened.
I do too, that basically it was just covered, probably still leaking up into.
Yeah, that's the only way we've found to remedy this. Either you seal this block so there's no way water is getting through it, or you build a surface on the outside of it, like
It's impermeable.
another wall, or make an umbrella roof that covers
Exactly.
the entire block, keeping water from ever touching the block. But yeah, it's kind of this block was never intended to keep moisture out, and that's the problem. A lot of bricks, they're much more solid than this block is. It's,
This is a clay block.
it's terracotta, kind of.
Okay.
It's not glazed, it's got a rough texture on the outside and a smooth texture on the inside. Possibly if it was smooth on the outside, we wouldn't have the problem, but
I don't see where we have a choice. I don't see where we have a choice.
I'm comfortable moving
Yeah.
forward.
So what they said is it probably does require a 72-hour notice because there's not in this state
Right.
less. And so you could approve it contingent to whatever, like if you wanted a letter or more.
Our contingent
Documentation.
that our consultant's advice are consistent with what we have decided, i.e. we need to proceed. We have a rainy season coming on and we need to proceed. And assuming that we have documentation from whomever that says that's the right decision, then I'm okay.
And this was clearly a decision. I mean, they did not they had no
Right.
intentions of painting it like many do because they want to paint it because they don't like the color of it.
we've held
They've
off
got
for
an issue.
a year. We replaced the roof over a year ago, and we're about to move in. We just received our building final inspection, so we're all ready to go. Except there's still water coming in, and we've kind of gone through all the other
And
routes.
the result is going to be the same. The building will be sealed. So let's just proceed.
So we need to proceed with color choices.
Well, but apparently, you say in that palette of these sealants, there's not many colors?
Well, the sealant will not be the final color.
So so
we'll see
then
you
it,
again.
Well, we've
Well- They're,
yeah, it's on the application, the color that we've
Right.
recommending.
yeah, they've got
Um,
color selections on the,
Yeah, is there another
Whiskey white,
page?
right.
Yeah, we've got the three. Of course, we want to go with the top one, but yeah. And the noir is only on the fascia of the awning, and that was approved on the original building permit.
Yeah, we saw you in that. So in essence, then the paint could be any color. The information about the sealant only coming in certain colors is not relevant to
Oh no,
paint.
so this is an off-white, and it's the color that
Correct.
we've chosen.
And it's in the palette that's approved.
I'm not questioning that. I just
Here's
am
the first, second,
confused.
third
I guess I'm
choice.
confused.
here's the first, second, and third choice.
I'm just,
Yeah.
some bit of information's not consistent with that in my head.
Mm.
So, I move approval and approval contingent upon agreement from our consultants that this is the correct way to proceed. And there has to be some time frame.
For the drying process, or,
For these
the
people to
approval.
proceed.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't wait for 10
Right.
years until we hear from our consultant. I mean, we need to know. I mean, I feel comfortable moving ahead.
I do too, I think your proposal ought to go without.
Just
Without a
period. We
condition,
move
no condition.
approval. I move approval of the request
Yes.
to seal the building in whatever way needs to be done and utilizing the colors you've presented to us.
The second motion.
Okay, so we have a first by Linda Anderson and second by Steve Riley. Correct.
No, just straight approval.
I appreciate that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank
Motion
you.
carries.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank
I hope
you.
you appreciate, you do, because of your service, that it's the issue of paint or not paint.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not
we
the
really-
issue of letting
we-
your building
We
fall
kind of
down.
like the orange, but, it's something that we can't get around, so
And we want you here.
I appreciate that.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
We hope it works for you.
Thank
We
you.
hope that it,
We'll let you know.
yeah,
You come by and see us sometime.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Tom.
You don't need a building permit for what they're doing, the paint.
Mm.
So you just proceed, you don't have to, I mean, I'll issue you a certificate of appropriateness, but you don't have to have that because you don't have a building permit yet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, item E, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on the request to install vinyl white and green graphics and letters on the business front windows showing the business name. List of products and quotes related to business name at 130 West Main.
Yes, this applicant is here today, and it's for Fire Flower. And she's just adding business signage to the front. She had originally requested signage on the side, and so the sign maker, Kim Miller, worked with her and talked to me, and we had not allowed signage on the side for the other building with a mural, and so they proceeded with that guidance. And I'll let her speak. She's been very, very patient today.
Hi, Kim Price, 372 Nolan Road, Whitesboro. I'm opening a boutique CBD shop at the old Hubbard building at 130, and so these are just the vinyls across the front.
The scale is what we see depicted on the windows.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
I generally am a person who says that I think the vinyl is too big. In this case, however, those giant plate glass windows are really big.
They're gigantic.
And so I'm thinking, this could be a good thing.
We actually made them smaller too, so they're huge windows.
They're giant windows.
Questions or discussions?
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the request.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Steve Riley and seconded by Linda Anderson. All in favor? Opposed?
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Okay, staff updates.
So I just wanted to point out, you got it in your package, but for SM Home and then the Farmers Market and Sugar Boogers, I was able to approve that in the office. And so I guess there's nothing left to do except if you see anything wrong with what I've approved, you should tell me.
What do we know about carrying on with completing the back of 327? Hope nobody falls down when they're trying to nice sign it up.
I don't know. I don't know how far they had to go when we made the decision. And so I'm not sure.
There's a permit in place now, though, right?
You know,
Not for that downstairs. But they're still working on, last I heard, the right-of-way agreement with Public Works.
Okay, right,
They're working on
right.
that.
But we did approach that at one point, right? Okay, thank you, thank you.
That's it. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.